OMG, baby, tell him.
2, 1. Hey there, welcome to Powered by Backers. Yet another day, yet another amazing guest. And ironically, this is back-to-back Americans on the show. John Waid, thank you, John, for joining me.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Nice to join.
Yeah, so you are in the ATL, Atlanta, Georgia. So welcome to the show. So let very quickly. So you are all about helping small businesses find their competitive advantage through their culture. So understanding their values and how that can drive them. You have an extensive, sort of track record of working with sort of, thought leadership and training and coaching small businesses. And you are you're CEO of Corporate Culture Consulting, which is the creator of the values-driven training approach to excellence. John, welcome to the show. Are we excellent, or is it something that we can inherently we're excellent, or is something that we can learn?
Well, it's something that if you can change the mindsets, the attitudes, and the behaviors, anybody can do it, and it's good for businesses of all sizes.
Right.
And most people don't pay attention to the culture space, and your biggest competitive advantage comes from culture. And I'll give some examples of why this matters and how you can benefit from it. And I've simplified the subject, and so it's really, really easy to do it. If you buy into the idea that I have, executing it's not that hard. You just need to devote some time and energy, and obviously put some elbow grease into it, as we say.
Yeah, nothing comes easy, right?
Exactly.
Nothing worth doing comes easy. So I've always heard this term. I don't know who made it up, but I've heard it a couple, at least one person say it. So it must be true, right? If you've seen it on the internet, it must be true. But I think it's an interesting term. So, we all know what a cult is, right? And sort of that, but we're not professing to have a cult sort of mindset, but culture, right? Sort of like having people buying into a belief system or a way or a thought process, not obviously in the negative cult sense, but where often they're going to end up in white nighties and white Nikes and all drinking the Kool-Aid, but more in the sense of you're buying into a common goal, a common sort of objective. You see whether it's whatever the objective is, everyone's pushing in the same direction, right?
Right.
Is that kind of so why don't you walk us through? I mean, let's say we're a small business. We are a relatively small business. We're starting out. Backers is we're launching our platform. We've got clients. We're working on all kinds of different things. Our my day seems like it goes in a sort of a million different directions.
Right.
Walk me through, like, what is how would you sit down with someone like myself or an entrepreneur and kind of you talk about elbow grease, but like what's the process there? How do you teach us what or what? I'm gonna flip the script. Why don't you teach the people watching right now? Give them a little bit of your what you would do with them.
Right. So just like there's an operating system for your computer,
right?
There's an operating system that you can access for your people, right? And that operating system, that's culture in a nutshell. It's how do your people behave, right? And what happens is that in most companies, from small to really large, we don't know how they're supposed to behave. Right. We don't set the guidelines for their behavior. We set the guidelines for the processes. We set the guidelines for the system. So we've got really good strategies maybe in our business that help us to have an operating system around strategy, an operating system around processes. What we don't have is an operating system for our people. And since people are your most expensive resource, they're also your most valuable resource. If you can rein in the behavior and you can standardize that behavior in, around some values, what you've got is predictable behavior, which gives you predictable results. So how does that apply to a small business?
Yeah, well, I was going to say easier said than done, obviously, right? But yeah, like how do we implement that? Give us some maybe like tactical.
Yeah, let me give you some real easy tactical things from some companies that have done this really, really well. So let me go to Southwest Airlines.
Okay.
If you had invested $10,000, about 50 years ago, for a 30-year period, you would have gotten back $12 million. And they're what I call a culture-driven company. So basically, they have 3 values that every single employee knows and every employee lives every single day at Southwest Airlines. If you ask any employee of their thousands of employees, they can all tell you the values. One of them is warrior spirit. So that's what gets the bags on the plane. That's what gets the prices low, the fuel, they hedge their fuel costs. All that operational stuff comes from the value of warrior spirit. So if you're flying Southwest Airlines and they're getting your bags on and they're working really hard and you see people sweating behind the scenes, that's your operational value, warrior spirit. Okay. So then they've got a second value to build on that warrior spirit, and that's what they call the servant heart. And that's their growth value, because if you're a servant, that means that you're humble. And if you're humble, you're always growing and learning and getting better.
Right.
So that's their growth value. I call that the growth value.
What was the first one? Was there what kind of value?
So their operational value.
Operation was the warrior spirit?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the bottom line, make the money, get things done.
Right.
That's that value.
Okay. So then the growth one is the servant heart.
Right. And you see that they're tying each value to a body part, a heart and a soul and
right.
Or a heart and a spirit. So warrior spirit, servant heart. And then they've got fun loving. That's what I call their aspirational value.
Okay.
So that's what makes you want to come to work. That's your leadership value. That's the why value. If you ever watch Simon Sinek.
So start with why. Exactly. We'll talk about it all the time. Very important.
Very important. So that's your leadership value. That's what makes it fun to fly Southwest Airlines. If you've ever been on there, and they sometimes you'll be on there and they'll be taking off and they'll go, man, we've been on 4 flights today and we're tired. So we're going to put the peanuts on the ground and the peanuts will come to you. So just reach down, grab some peanuts.
Just reach down and grab, there you go. Okay.
Grab some peanuts, right?
Yeah, as they roll by, right? As they roll by.
They'll sing the safety video. They'll do all kinds of fun stuff, right? So that's their fun-loving value. There was one where the flight attendant got into a bin. She was probably weighed like 80 pounds, and she got into a bin, and she was surprising people. That's
on the overhead bin?
From the overhead bin, So she put herself in the overhead bin and was waving to people from the overhead bin. That's fun-loving. That's what makes you want to fly Southwest Airlines. It also makes their employees want to come to work, right? So that's your aspirational value.
This is maybe I think for a lot of companies, they'd all love that. I think, I guess the question maybe I have is, it's great on paper to say, warrior spirit, a servant heart, fun loving, right? And in a boardroom, we're all like, yeah, that's great. Let's do it. How do you actually get the employees who, arguably it's an airline, they're making, I don't want to put words in the mouth, but I'm assuming they're making similar wages. They're doing similar roles as every other airline, right? So there's not like a lot of sort of change there. Like how does a company sort of instill those values or to create that culture when, without it just being, sort of the writing on the wall and just sort of like, what's the term, like airspace, or just kind of like I'm trying to think of a term, but just sort of just a good to say, but no one actually really does it. Like how would I like, and how would a company sort of start? Because obviously I think it starts early on, right? You can't just instill it in a major corporation, because then it seems very kind of flippant or just being done for optics, right? I think how do you instill that kind of value system throughout? And I'm asking a lot of questions here at once. How do you maintain it when you've got scale where now no one's arguably meeting the CEO or the board if you're a baggage handler at I'm going to say Pearson International Airport here in Toronto, or whatever what's the major airport in Atlanta? I've never been there.
The Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport.
There you go, right? So how do you get the baggage handler in Hartsfield, International Airport to have this like warrior spirit? Like what happens? Tell. I've asked the question. Tell us. Give me like how do I as a CEO or the people watching implement that?
Okay, so I go into companies, I help you write it down, right? Number one, you need to make the value simple, and you need to only have 3, because most companies have 8 or 10 or whatever.
Right. So keep it simple, stupid kind of thing, right?
Keep it simple, keep it KISS, keep it short and simple, or keep it simple, stupid. The second,
I guess I say keep it simple, stupid. Whenever I say that, people are like, "Are you calling me stupid?" But no. Keep it short and simple is the better way. I should start saying that. Keep it short and simple. Yes,
that's the more eloquent.
The eloquent way. Yeah,
right.
I'm not so eloquent.
Well, me neither. Sometimes I say the F word quite a bit.
There you go. Exactly. We can say it on here. It's all good.
I'll keep it to the logo. Well, let me say this, that if you keep your values simple, if you keep them memorable, and if you keep them balanced, which is what I help you do, that's why you're hiring me, and I don't charge what this is actually worth. So I'm cheap. Here's the thing, that then we write it down. We write down your values, your purpose, your mission, and we keep it really short. Let me give you an example. I did it for a medical device company. Okay. Their purpose is 5 or 6 words. That's all it should be, because nobody can remember more than that shit. Okay. So keep the shit simple. So here's what you do. So for this medical device company, their purpose was, we save lives by preventing infections. They had a 4-paragraph purpose. I said, we save lives by preventing infections. Their mission, we are the leaders in infection prevention. Done. They have 3 values, hand in heart, right? So I wear my heart on my sleeve. That's their aspirational value. Then they have hunter spirit, right? Because they're constantly getting better. That's their growth value. And then they have warrior soul, which they took from Southwest, which is awesome.
Right.
And I helped them. And so warrior soul helps get everything done. We wrote a manual for them, a little 10-page, double-spaced, big letters, 2nd grade English shit that's not too complicated.
Right.
And we have everyone read it and then live it, and we train against it. So we train against the manual. What gets written gets done. So we train against a behavior manual. Okay?
Right.
So it's your little culture book. The little culture book is the key to success if you live it. If you live it.
And that's, I think, the hardest part, right? So, I mean, I agree with everything you've said to this point.
Okay.
Writing it down, obviously, making it, real. And I had a gentleman on yesterday about, writing down purpose, sort of being intentional in what you do, and sort of, making sure you say it, and what's the power of suggestion and things of that nature, right? But so let's I not to interrupt you, but so now how do you actually live it? Give us that.
Okay. So for instance, I hear you saying the word "but" a lot, right? So let me correct you on that.
Did I say "but" a lot?
Oh yeah, you.
Do I say "a" lot? Maybe that's another mistake. Do I say "a"? But I don't know.
Hey, but so they say everything before the "but" is bullshit, right? So if I tell you, if I'm at a company and I tell you, your business is very important to us, but I'm basically telling you that the business isn't that important to me, or I'd really like to help you, sir, but I hear that all the time.
Yeah,
I hear that at banks. I hear that from cable companies. I hear that from telecommunications companies. I even hear it at fast food restaurants.
Right. So we do this, but whatever, and it's sort of like an excuse. It's an easy way to make an excuse, right? You're blaming out of your hand circumstances, right? Or presumably out of your hand.
So let's just say that I went into your company and I trained all your people not to say the word "but," right? And let me just tell you that if you don't say that word "but" and you replace it with "and" or cut your sentence, that'll increase your customer satisfaction by double. Why? Because people get pissed off when I go into a bank and say, I'd really like to help you, sir, but no, you don't really want to fucking help me. So
yeah, there you go. I like it.
So
Straight to no, for sure. You know, and I mean, it's funny. I've actually had 2 conversations today in 2 different contexts, where one is sort of in a technology sort of building perspective. Right. The other was in another product we're working on, and in both instances, I was having the conversation with the other individual who were arguably, you know, clients of, or one sort of in-house. And I'm saying, hey, we want to do this so that, you know, we want to be able to present to the clients an easy solution. And they're saying, yeah, you know, but, you know, what about this? What about that? And I'm like, fuck the excuses. Let's think of their desires, their needs, their wants, right? In the one instance, we're working with a couple of clients trying to build out, you know, some tech products for them. You know, we're kind of building out a tech incubator, and you know, we're working on it. And so they're kind of coming back saying, well, we can't do this for them because of whatever. We need to do this. Right. I'm saying, get it done. Like, do it on behalf of the customer. Like, quit coming back to me with sort of reasons why it can't be done. Exactly. Get it done. Like, make it happen. Right. Let's overachieve. Right. Is that sort of the thought process?
Stop the yes but bullshit.
Yeah.
The yes and we'll do it this way. Yes and your idea is valid.
Problem solving.
Right. So the yes and culture versus the yes but culture. And a simple little word seems like, oh, no big deal. It's a big deal. That word is so ingrained in our vocabulary that if you can make the mental shift, the mindset, the attitude change to the yes and attitude, all of a sudden your culture is completely different. Yes, that's a great point, Justin. And what if we do this also? And you go, man, that's awesome. You know, so everybody's adding to it versus taking away. You go to a meeting and you hear a lot of buts in the meeting, like, yes, your idea is good, but my idea is better. And then somebody else is butting that one. And then you got
everyone's trying to, it's like a pissing match, right? Everyone's
trying to, match where nobody wins, right? Everybody's pissing in the wind and it's coming back to hit you in the face. So that's not collaboration. That's the lack of collaboration. So it's just, it's what we do, and we're behavior consultants. So we go in and we'll change that word but to the word and, right? We'll make, so let me give you an example of a fast food chain here in the States that does it really, really well. It's one called Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. They opened up here in Toronto, actually. We have a location,
Right.
I brought a bunch to, I was doing physio back in the winter before COVID. I brought a bunch to our physio, just thanking them, saying, and it was a special treat. Because they were all like, oh, Chick-fil-A. And they're like, so anyways, whatever. Yeah, it was a big deal here. For a bit.
It is a big deal. And so let me compare them to Kentucky Fried Chicken. They both sell chicken, right? They both deliver it hot. They both have good processes. Right. They have great strategies, whatever. The difference is at Chick-fil-A, I can predict the behavior of every employee there. I can tell you how they're going to behave every single day, and it's almost 100% predictable. At Kentucky Fried Chicken, I can't fucking predict how they're going to behave.
Right.
They're all over the place. So their operating system is chaotic at KFC. At Chick-fil-A, it's very predictable. The difference in revenue generated by one store in 1 year between Kentucky Fried Chicken and Chick-fil-A is 6 times more. So Kentucky Fried Chicken sells $1 million a year per store on average. Chick-fil-A sells $6 million on average per store. And it's all because of fucking culture, okay? The thing that nobody running a company pays a lot of attention to, and it's your fucking incredible competitive advantage.
So okay, I'm gonna try to avoid the word but. So KFC does this and Chick-fil-A does what? Like how do they encourage that culture?
Okay.
That like you said, you walk into a KFC, you don't know what someone's going to do because I think this is probably the $1 million question. Right. How do you get the arguably minimum wage worker, in this case, or low wage worker, to be that much more, like how do you get them to enjoy their work?
Yes.
do their, treat the customers in a better way, especially at scale. I think it's fine if you've got 3 employees and the owner of the company is in the back making the chicken, right? That's probably, the owner and maybe your sister or his daughter. But like, how do I get, in Toronto, the Chick-fil-A in Toronto to have their staff perform to the same level of standards? What's the trick aside from just writing it down?
Okay.
There's got to be a trick.
It's not a huge
or
trick.
not a trick, but there's got to be something behind that.
There is. So here's the thing. So Chick-fil-A back when it was founded and stuff, the guy that founded it believed we're not in the chicken business, we're in the people business. So that's the first belief structure you have to set up. So you hire for culture, you fire for culture, you promote for culture, and you train against culture. And here's the thing, I can go into Chick-fil-A and every single kid that works there is going to smile with teeth because they hire for the smile. Okay. They look for the kids that already smile naturally and are there to serve, all right? So I can guarantee you they're going to smile with teeth. At Chick-fil-A, at KFC, I can't even guarantee you they have teeth.
I'm going to just throw a little joke in there. Is that kind of Hooters hiring model as well?
It could be.
Maybe a different body part, but yes.
It's a different body part. It's the same principle, right?
Same concept. Okay.
Same concept. We're already hiring for it, right?
Okay. I get it.
We're hiring for natural beauty. And in this case, a smile, right?
Smile. Okay.
In Hooters' case, different, right?
Right.
They're hiring for Hooters, right?
Right.
Right. So,
but I get it. So, okay. So that's the mindset, right? That's the thought process behind everything. So you really have to live and breathe it at every step of the business.
Exactly. And I can guarantee you their bathrooms are going to be clean at Chick-fil-A. They're going to smile with teeth. They're going to engage you in conversation. They're going to say, "It's my pleasure," after you say thank you. Every single kid will say that to you.
Right.
It's standardized all the way across the board. So 99.9 times out of 100. And I can tell the untrained kid, because I had one the other day, and she said to me, she goes, "Have a nice one." I said, "Shit, you haven't been trained yet. You're going to say, 'It's my pleasure,' after I say thank you," because that's what they do at Chick-fil-A.
So at what point does it become lip service, though? Sort of.
Fake it till you make it, right? Fake it till you become it. And quite frankly, they already hire for it. So these kids already are the kinds. They have a great saying. When I went to tour their headquarters, they said, "John, we hire people that believe what we believe because they're more likely to do what we're going to ask them to do anyway." Right? So they already hire the kids that are cleanly, and that believe in cleanliness, that believe in certain values, right? That believe in friendliness and cleanliness and all those types of things. So they're already hiring for it, and then they're training like hell against it. And they pay $1 more than they pay at KFC.
So there are incentives as well, or added components.
$1 more per hour. That's the incentive, which is not that much.
Right. In the grand scheme of things.
In the grand scheme of things, it's nothing. So
I just said "but" again. I literally end my sentences with "but."
Okay. Here's the thing. You just caught yourself, right? Yeah. So guess what I just created in less than 20 minutes? I created a behavior change in you that if you follow it over time, it's going to create a culture of yes and versus yes but. That's the fucking shit that we do. We go into companies, and from the head guy to the bottom, they all have to buy into the behavior and use it every single day.
Yeah.
And as they become aware of it, then they start. Because you weren't aware that you weren't aware, right? You didn't even know that the butts were coming out. So now you're aware that you're unaware.
Yeah.
Right? So that's phase 2. Then you're aware that you're aware. That's phase 3 of behavior change. And phase 4 is you don't even know that you change your behavior to a better one because you do it automatically.
Right.
It becomes a habit.
It becomes automatic.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that's phase 4. And that's what we try to get. That's where we get you to do your culture, because it has to be on purpose and it has to be automatic. So you're right. How do we do it so it's not hokey? Right. We go from a behavior to an attitude. So it's not the it's my pleasure behavior, it's the it's my pleasure attitude.
Of you're actually, it is, you're feeling that
It's
it's your
my pleasure
pleasure.
to serve
Yeah,
you.
right.
It's my pleasure as a Chick-fil-A employee to serve you.
Yeah.
That's where it becomes an attitude, and that's where it's yours for life. And believe me that Chick-fil-A outperforms all these other fast food chains because of their culture.
Right.
They outsell McDonald's by 2 times.
And surprising, wouldn't McDonald's have a relatively decent culture or no?
Not really, because they don't hire for it. Because at McDonald's, if you were to go and say, you know, how are your kids supposed to, well, they're supposed to say thank you. Well, do you hold them accountable for that?
Right.
At Chick-fil-A, if you don't say it, you're out.
So there's like checks and balances at every step.
Oh yeah, they expect you. They've got little cards, because I've got my daughter's friend works there. They got a little card with 4 little bullet points on it that say, when they say thank you, say it's my pleasure. It's written. In other words, every behavior that you see at the Chick-fil-A pretty much is scripted, practiced until it becomes an attitude,
a way of life, or an attitude.
A way of life, right?
Interesting. So I'm trying to think what. So I'm very much about the culture aspect in sort of the different organizations that I've run. You know, the mindset. I said it. I was talking with a gentleman yesterday about sort of mindset and paradigm shift, which I think ties a lot into what, you know, just it's obviously different sort of buzzwords, but you know, it's taking somebody, you know, from, you know, the shoulder of the, you know, use the government worker who just shows up, you know, punches the clock, doesn't care, maybe is customer facing, does their time and does very little for it. To
you just said the word "and." Good job.
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Nice job.
And okay, but there's the but.
Yeah, there you go.
And then you've got the flip side is the person who is showing up to, you know, and enjoys their work, has that culture top down, and as you said, they're sort of trained for it, and it's ingrained. And like you said, they're kind of ousted or let go if they're not willing to kind of, you know, toe the line, if you will. I'm using a lot of keywords or buzzwords, but you know, that's sort of how a business is able to go about it as they scale. So they have to make it very, 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 very important, or like a very high priority on the list of things to do. Like, can you do your job as a software engineer is one, or maybe that's 2. 1 is, do you believe in what we believe? And 2 is, can you code or whatever the role is, or can you punch a cash register and take money? 1 is, do you believe what we believe?
Right. Do you live our values?
Do you live our values?
Right. Do you live our values? So that there was a president of Delta Airlines that got this stuff about culture, and he was interviewed at the University of Texas by some students in the MBA program, and they said, what's setting Delta apart? Because this is an airline that merged with Northwest. It was in terrible shape. I fly them a lot because I live in Atlanta, and the service was terrible and everything was terrible. I hated flying Delta.
Right.
He came in, created a culture manual based on the founder of Delta. He put the values and the behaviors down in writing, and then they trained against it. 80,000 employees got trained on it.
Right.
Okay. So this is where it's scalable, right? So all of a sudden, Delta, they start saying, thank you for your business, Mr. Waid. And I go, damn, what the fuck changed here?
Right. Okay.
Right. And I was like, oh my God, I like this new airline.
Right.
Right. It's the same damn people, because I would see the nasty lady and all of a sudden she started acting nicer. And I said, oh my God, they're going to get my business.
Right.
Right. And all of a sudden he turned that culture booklet into an attitude for the airline. They're now rated the #1 large airline in the United States. And the difference between them and United and American
Airlines
is culture.
Right.
It's all about United has a fucking piece of shit culture run by piece of shit people like Oscar Munoz. I hate that motherfucker.
I don't even know the name, but I'm sure he's not a very good guy. But
it's all about the money for him. And the problem is that when it's all about the money, all your culture stuff goes out the window, right?
Right. If it's pure profit, pure then that's where. So I actually have a quick question that maybe, I don't know if you know. So you said 80,000 staff. I'd be interested to hear, when he came in and started to implement that, how many of those 80,000 were let go? Because I would assume there'd be people that maybe didn't buy in, right? I mean, there's obviously, if they weren't hired for it, there's probably some that would be, arguably disgruntled or not a fit, right? Do you know stats on kind of numbers that were let go? Obviously, you said the bitchy lady became not bitchy, so she kept her job, but I'm sure there were people that weren't able to convert.
I'm sure there's quite a few people, and he even says it, and he says it more eloquently than I do. He said, sometimes if people aren't performing or they're not living up to your culture, you got to make a move.
Right.
What he meant is you got to fire them, right?
Yeah.
So here's the thing about Oscar Munoz, the head of United. He was there when they drug the guy off. I don't know if you ever saw the guy that got drug off the United flight.
For what? What was it for?
He was, yeah, they just drug him off the airplane because he wasn't conforming to whatever, but they drug him down the center aisle, and it was all over the news, and their stock fell. I don't know how. These types of CEOs need to be fired. They need to be fired right away, because they're the types of CEOs that suck airlines or whatever company they're in dry. They just believe in, let's make money, 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 money. Boeing, the CEO of Boeing was finally fired because they have 7 values, which is too many. And 3 of them, the most important ones, were safety, quality, and integrity. They violated each of those massively, and they had the huge disasters of the 2 planes crashing in the 737.
Malaysia and the other one,
Exactly. The 737 MAX caused 400 deaths on the watch of the CEO. The CEO got $60 million to leave that company because that was his golden parachute. And when he was asked, he said, your culture, you didn't take care of the culture at Boeing, and therefore that's where the failures came from. He said, no, it has nothing to do with culture. You know what? It has 100% to do with culture, because guess what? You were pump out the airplanes, pump out the airplanes, pump out the airplanes, and then you killed people, right? That's not the type of CEO. So I believe that people should be fired because of culture. And I believe it starts with the CEO. If the CEO is not promoting and living the right culture, I'd fire the hell out of them.
Right. Okay. So let's do a little exercise. Are you ready?
Yes.
Let's create a culture, or at least maybe 3 values, purpose, mission for backers. And we'll just do it quickly in 5 minutes. We'll try and see if we can do that. You think we can do it? A live culture creation exercise. I mean, I'm all about culture. Okay. I'm all about passion and doing.
Let's get started, right? Because we've got 5 minutes.
Okay, let's do it. Go. You tell me how we start.
Okay, so your purpose is going to be in less than 6 words, and it's going to start with I believe XXX. And it's going to be transcendent. So I believe in happiness throughout the world. I believe in peace and love. I believe in in candy canes and sugar plum fairies. What is it that you believe in that makes your company special?
I believe in investing in opportunity.
Okay, perfect.
Actually, I believe that entrepreneurs will change the world.
Okay. I believe entrepreneurs will change the world. Okay.
And we need to invest in opportunities.
How about this? I believe entrepreneurs change the world.
Change the world given an opportunity.
Too fucking long.
Two. Okay. Okay. I believe that entrepreneurship or entrepreneurs will change the world.
Change the world. No, they do change the world.
They change the world. They change the world.
They change the world. Okay. So that's your purpose, right?
Yeah.
We believe entrepreneurs change the world. Okay. Now you said something about investing in opportunities. So that's going to be your mission.
Mission, right? Our mission is to enable, or to I guess it would be to provide an opportunity for those entrepreneurs to succeed, right?
Okay.
Through funding and access and mission is to give every entrepreneur and every idea an opportunity to succeed.
We give opportunities for entrepreneurs to succeed. Okay,
Yeah.
that's your mission. Okay,
providing opportunities for entrepreneurs to succeed.
That's it. You got it. And if you write this shit down, you got yourself your culture document.
Yeah. What was the first one? The purpose was, I believe entrepreneurs will change the world. I believe entrepreneurs change the world.
Change the world, right? Okay.
All right, we're doing. I love this. Thank you.
And then that only took us a minute and a half or something. So
there we go. So values. I mean, from our perspective, I think.
Let me guide you on this one, just so that I need something that's going to make people want to come work at your company. So something that's aspirational. So something like fun loving, something like friendly spirit, something like, what is it that you espouse to make your company a place where people want to come and feel comfortable at? So what's your aspirational value? Okay.
I would say like sort of maybe easygoing.
Okay.
That fun-loving, easygoing.
Easygoing spirit, let's call it.
Easygoing. Yeah, I think sort of like
easygoing spirit. Let's call it, and let's tie it to spirit, just because when you tie it to something, it's emotional with rational tied, and those
easygoing elbows. I'm just kidding.
That's perfect. Easygoing elbows, whatever you want.
You know the elbow grease, right? We talked about elbow grease.
Easygoing elbows, right? That makes it more unique to you. So easygoing elbows. Okay. Now your growth value. What's going to help you to grow and get better?
Well, I think it's always learning. Always, you know, striving for more, right? So the what was the striving for more. Overachieving. No, but that's different. Yeah, it's more like always learning. Always learning. That's a great one. Easy going, always learning.
Okay. Now your operational value. This is the get shit done, make money value. This is something like accountable spirit or
meticulous.
Meticulous. That's very good.
Measurably meticulous.
Okay. Now
you can send the bill in the mail for this, right? The bills and checks in the mail.
Exactly.
The checks in the mail for I love the checks in the mail, the bills in the mail. Okay, that's awesome.
So now put one specific behavior under each one. So easygoing, what's a specific behavior that would show someone's easygoing? How about laughing?
Yeah, just like a joy for life, or like a appreciation of life. Yeah, it's I laugh all day long. I enjoy life.
Right.
Regardless.
So we laugh here is that's an easy one. And you always want to do your behaviors with we, because obviously everyone needs to do it.
We laugh here. Yeah. We don't take ourselves too seriously.
That's your second behavior underneath. Okay.
Right. Okay.
See where I'm going?
So you kind of build out behaviors under each one.
Exactly. And then guess what? You train against it. You hold yourself accountable for it as the leader, and then you train everybody on it and make sure they're all living it. And all of a sudden, when people come into your business, they're not even going to know. It's going to be subconscious for them. They're going to go, why do I like Chick-fil-A versus KFC? Well, because they do all these behaviors on purpose.
Right.
Yeah.
They're intentional, right?
They're intentional. Right.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, John, that's hopefully everyone out there watching if you've been watching this, you've got your purpose, your mission, and your values. And maybe, we'll work on it, but I think, I believe entrepreneurs will change the world.
We'll work on it
and improve. Work on it and improve, right?
Excellent. Good job.
We'll work on it and improve on it. So, I appreciate it. John, thank you. I appreciate you joining me here. I'm going to end it. We have one last question I ask everybody, and I'm excited to hear your last question or your last answer to this question.
Right.
And if you had one word that you could go back, or one piece of advice you could give to a younger you or someone coming up in the game, what would that word what would that word be?
Have fun.
Have fun. 2 words. Enjoy yourself. Have fun. Fun. It's life is too short to be, wallowing in misery, right?
Right. Fun is
crying
my
over
main
spilt
word.
milk. Fun. I like it. There you go. Well, I'd love to come down and have some fun in ATL Atlanta and have some Chick-fil-A. So if ever we're down there,
anytime.
I'll look you up and we'll go. And if you're ever in Toronto, come on by, swing by, and we'll grab Chick-fil-A up here. It's at Yorkdale. I think there's one location. So yeah, it's in the mall.
I'll grab a Mr. Big or a Crispy Crunch or.
Oh, you're gonna go over the Canadian chocolate bars. What? Okay, I always wonder. I don't know what we have and you don't have. I'm not sure which one is available or not available. I assume that a lot of what we have is pretty much what you guys have, but I'm sure there's some variables there, right?
Right. There are some like Mr. Big and Crispy Crunch are more brands from Canada than they are here. It's Butterfinger and Reese's.
Yeah, O. Henry.
Right.
Yeah.
O. Henry. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's kind of like the Mr. Big comparable, right? O. Henry.
Exactly. It's like Mr. Big. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're this big, they call you Mr.
Mr. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the slogan. Okay, my friend.
There you go. Awesome. Well, John, appreciate it. Thank you very much. Everyone else for joining me. Go get it. Go build your culture. You need to build the purpose, your mission, your values. Live them every day, and you will have or gain that competitive advantage over your competitors. Thanks for joining me on Powered by Backers. John, thanks again for joining me.
Thank you. You're a good host.
Awesome. Well, I'm just doing it, having fun. It's enjoyable. Awesome. Cool. Thanks, John.
Take care, my friend.
Yeah, you too. Thanks.
OMG, baby, tell them.